Good morning. Once again, it is time to take a look back at the week before and maybe a look a week at the week coming up and where we are in our course. Where are we? Where we're halfway through. And as we enter week 5, I just want to thank everybody for the effort and the work you've all put in the opening half. We still have some interesting places to go in this course. And let me look back as I usually do at the beginning of the week and before I look ahead. Looking back on the discussion in particular this week, when we started discussing Starbucks, I noticed what was happening with a lot of people is we were concentrating very much on product and marketing things, and maybe not going as far as we might have into the organizational challenges and the behavioral challenges that come along with making changes to a business. And the reason I bring that up is because to illustrate the continuation that we want to go on. Because this week, in week 5, we're really going to talk about change and organizational change. And yes, we know that is probably the biggest cliche out there, right? That the only constant there is change. But it's true. It is the one thing that will always be happening. Nothing is the same today as it was yesterday. And particularly as we went through the year 2020 and now are in 2021, couldn't be more true than ever. So let's look at some of the ideas that are going to come up. We're going to explore some actual theories of both social change and organizational change. And the context, I think, that we can now use that we haven't used before is a little bit of what we have just been through and are still going through in terms of the fact that the COVID-19 pandemic has caused a lot of organizations to do things differently. And they're going to be faced with some choices as the situation evolves. By that I mean many businesses, other organizations, individuals, they've changed practices. We're doing things now in a way that we didn't do them 12 months ago, for sure. And the question is going to be, have we discovered any processes, any methods, any just stuff that we do that we're going to continue to do the way in which we've had to adjust, or are we going to go back to the way we haven't been able to do it excuse me, for a while. And why I say that's going to be interesting is, have we discovered processes that maybe we didn't even have to do at all? Or are we discovering things that we've never done before and we need to do more of? So as you go into discovering things about the theoretical underpinnings of change, it's time to keep those things in mind. How different are things going to become? How different have they become? And the whole idea to keep in mind is value. I really want to stress that, at least from my point of view. Value kind of underrides everything. We really need to keep that in mind. If we don't do things that add value, what have we done? Why are we doing? Are we creating busy work? Are we just searching for things that we haven't thought about? So the things that we have to do are understand change in today's context. And that might be a little difficult because of the way the discussion is structured this week, because I think you're going to have an opportunity maybe to do a little digging historically, simply as a matter of chronology. Discussion is about what used to be a retail behemoth. I mean, largest retailer in the world, Sears. And yet Sears is, for all practical purposes, gone. There may be a few locations left, but it's gone. Now we ask a question in the discussion of, if you were in charge of Sears in its sort of last vestigial form, is there any way it can come back? Is there any way it can revive itself? Can it reinvent itself? Can it do something different? Can it change? or did the failure to change just totally wipe out any chance at all? So for some of you, people who are much younger than I, you may have to go back and do a little digging and kind of educate yourself as to what Sears once was. For some of you, it'll be a very, very clear memory of what Sears once was not so long ago. But I think you're going to find the vehicle of a discussion about Sears one that is very, very good for discussing this whole idea of organizational change at a fundamental level and what it means. So that is important. It's looking at the big picture again, looking at business ecosystems, if you will. I do urge people not to get caught up in product. Don't get caught up in marketing. Think of the organizational issues that are going to come up. The other thing is, I would like you to take note, I will include shortly some more information on some financial structures that limited what Sears could do and actually created some of the situations that it's in. I'm talking about the whole idea of the operation of hedge funds. It's something you hear about all the time, but not many people really truly understand. And I think it has an impact on the way you look at it. So I am going to be providing much more information than the textbook would do about the operation of hedge funds and take that into consideration. Operationally, course is going extremely well. I want to thank people for their participation. We had 80 entries this week on the discussion. We're kind of holding our own. It's a good-sized group at 16. This is a challenge for everyone to get in there and look at some of the suggestions I give you on kind of an operational way. Make sure you're spreading your workout across the week. Try to avoid that, what I've been telling some people in feedback, that Wednesday, Sunday trap. Everyone here has had the opportunity to express some really good, very, I think, well-structured, well-thought-out discussion points. Don't limit your exposure. If you do everything too early, you limit your exposure. If you do everything too late, you really limit your exposure. So those are just some things to keep in mind. I am, though, very pleased with how things have gone. So as usual, just a few comments about where we've been, a few comments on where we're going, and let's get the second half of this course started, and I think we're going to progress to a very good conclusion. Thank you very much.